That's an understatement.
Yeah, it really is. Because if you stay secret and they know about it, then they can.
Well, I'm going to be honest. That's why you're even on this show, because I'm in Austin. I know Perry's already scared of me for whatever reason. It's kind of creepy to have someone this powerful.
You're absolutely no threat to Rick Perry except to maybe annihilate his political career.
Well, I just don't know why 14 months ago he told a Fox host this behind closed doors, came over and cornered him. Well, I guess you're a listener. You know, I talked about that last year.
Sure.
And said he's scared of Ron Paul and Alex Jones. And I'm like, why me? And I guess he knows I'm here local. I'm media he doesn't control. And, the thing is, I don't have some political beef with Perry. I'm not even after him as an individual.
You mean personal beef? You have a political beef, just like I do.
Well, exactly. But it's just all these Republicans that get caught with their pages and in bathrooms and Bohemian Grove and the reports of Obama. I think they only promote people who have this type of background because they can then control them.
I was just thinking about Rick Perry, whether he's more suited for Bilderberg or Bohemian Grove. Alex, I kind of feel that when Rick Perry went to Bilderberg, he was probably like an 8th grader in a college calculus class. That they knew they had a dumb bunny on their hands. But I think Rick might be a little more at home, running around howling in the woods at Bohemian Grove. That's my personal opinion.
I don't get that Rick Perry's dumb. To me, he's extremely slick and smart.
Well, if you're running around with all the women and young men that he has, and you think you're too stupid to not think they're going to talk one day, that's pretty dumb. And
if you study psychology, if any of this is true, and these people aren't lying to you, I have no doubt you're being told this. If this is true, it's par for the course. These are reckless personalities. These are narcissists. This is what narcissists do. I mean, you don't think that over the years I haven't had women come on to me and stuff? But at the end of the day, and nobody's perfect, but at the end of the day, you've got a family, you've got a wife. You can't just be an animal who has no responsibility.
The Austin media wrote about the way Anita Perry will almost never kiss Rick Perry in public. John Kelso wrote a column. You guys can Google this. It says somebody needs to goose Anita Perry to get a smile out of her. It was so obvious in the 2010 campaign that she was not for it. She did not want to do it.
Didn't he run an ad 4 years ago where he said, "My wife and I love each other"?
Oh, he tweets. This is what's so outrageous. He tweets how blessed he is. He talks about her and compares her to biblical verses, and yet he's running around with some of the girls I see. Hello?
Well, again, these women have told you this reportedly. I just can't. Stay there. We've got to continue to flesh this out. We'll be right back. We're going to open the phone lines up, 800-259-9231. Stay with us. Well, the Washington Post, the San Francisco Chronicle, they're all covering it, so I thought we would give you a chance, the listeners, to actually talk to Robert Morrow. Here's the San Francisco Chronicle headline: Who is Rick Perry's gay and stripper sex accuser, Robert Morrow? There are hundreds of articles out right now. I would imagine, Robert, that your phone lines have been burning up. What type of media has been contacting you?
Phone lines have been burning up. Radio shows, reporters around the world, people like you, people on, a lot of morning shows been calling me up. They like controversial topics.
And you've been telling this story there?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've been getting the word out. A lot of, some of the conservative ones have a little harder time believing it, but you got to understand this. Any conservatives listening right here, that, in 1992, Bill Clinton by that time had hundreds of women, okay? And only 3 came public. That was Jennifer Flowers, Sally Perdue, and Bobby and Williams.
Well, that was because they killed some of them. Of course,
because Hillary Clinton was unleashing her terror campaign and hiring private detectives like Jack Palladino and Anthony Pellicano to, break their car windows and put shotgun shells on their car seats. So you have to understand is that it's hard to get folks to come public. Hence this ad. This ad is, if anybody's listening here in Austin, Texas, or around the country that can expose Rick Perry for who he is, let's do it. Let's get it over with right now. My email address is familyvalueshypocrite@gmail.com. Well,
let me advise you on something. Okay. If you would want to get a bunch of people together and have a press conference. And if you wait around and try to, now that this train's left the station, and sit there and try to give these women over to newspaper reporters and people, they're not going to report it unless it's Larry Flint. Have you gotten a hold of Larry Flint? Because he's the guy for this.
No, but I need to. I hadn't had time. This is exactly the kind of thing Larry Flint would relish in. You know, there are a lot of gay Republicans at very high levels. One of them resigned in 2007, didn't get much coverage. But it was Trent Lott of Mississippi, and the reason he resigned was because of a breaking scandal over a San Antonio gay escort named Benjamin Nicholas. You can Google that. Google Trent Lott, Benjamin Nicholas, and that's just an example of the kind of folks that, you know.
I thought he had to resign because of an insurance scam.
No, that wasn't it. It was a gay escort fella.
What's going on with these people? I mean,
this guy was in the Republican leadership, so many of the folks listening right now never knew that, you know. Yet, so the same thing with Rick Perry, and you know, we're getting reports, and I haven't confirmed them, but we're getting, you know, leads to say that, you know, Rick Perry has been playing around with, you know, gay escorts as well as, you know, these.
Okay, but let's stop there because I well, number one, I'm going to give the number out. It's 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. You know, the issue here for me is this is a big national story right now. It's one of the biggest.
Yep.
And I wanted people to actually hear from you. And then, to be frank, last night I wasn't going to touch it. I wasn't going to touch it all week. And then I started getting contacted by people I know saying, no, I know this guy. He's for real. Now, people may be lying to him, but Robert Morrow is for real. And then I separately had Richard Reeves in here because he was calling me saying, look, I've been a delegate. The big fight to get Ron Paul elected is going to be the delegates, because even if he really wins states, they're going to try to have delegates that are establishment kill it. So you were not here today, Richard, to talk about this. No, absolutely. This got blindsided by this just at the last minute. I mean, I just contacted you at like 12:30 to get you on when we went into overdrive here,
hey,
Robert.
I want to make a comment. Ron Paul came out today and said that, you know, he felt that what I was doing was silly. And here's my reply to that is, Ron Paul, God bless him, doesn't play around with the same women that me and Rick Perry and Rick's entourage do. Okay? So Ron has no idea what's going on. He's too busy fighting the Federal Reserve, the endless wars, the assault on civil liberties. And he's not out there playing with the strippers, et cetera, like Rick Perry does.
Now, tell folks about yourself individually. You're a private investor, right?
I'm a self-employed investor. I'm a graduate of Princeton University in 1987. I got my MBA from the University of Texas in 1990. And I've been involved in politics on and off for many, many years. And instead of being a wine connoisseur, you're a connoisseur of fast women. Well, not really. But, you know, occasionally, you know, if I've met a pretty girl, that's fine with me. Unlike Rick Perry, I just like women, Alex. Okay? Oh, man. I tell you what, do you have any comments, Richard Reeves? Well, one of the comments I have is that, you know, Rick Perry recently had this big rally over in Houston, and that's consider that like a giant caucus. Rick Perry is going to use those people 100%. All those people showed up at that stadium that day. It's all about getting them to go out and stump for Rick Perry, door to door, knock on doors, knock to the... He wants the word-of-mouth power that Ron Paul has, and he believes well-meaning, really good Christian people can be fooled by him. Absolutely. And there's no doubt he's not the Christian he says he is. I mean, he is a globalist, duplicitous, Al Gore-loving, New World Order, Bilderberg, forced inoculation, Napa superhighway globalist. Yep. And he's a Republican Bill Clinton. Well, Alex, remember a few years ago when Rick Perry was caught spending money at a drag show down in Key West? I think it was called the La-Di-Da Bar or the Fa-Di-La Bar. No, I don't remember that. What are you talking about? I don't have the right name of that. You guys can Google that. He spent $78 there, and the Perry campaign's cover story for that was Anita was the one spending money at a male drag review. Let me stop you. Yeah. Bring Rob Dew in here. He was trying to give me some financial records earlier showing me that, and he said he had a mainstream news article
again, I don't follow all this. I'm into what he does with his policies.
Here we go. Rick Perry spent $78 at the La Tida drag queen show in Florida. And then this year, the legislature, get this, moved to make Rick Perry's travel expenses secret. There's no doubt about that, Alex, what's going on.
What source is that?
If you Google this, Google Rick Perry spent $78 at the La Tida drag queen. See, Key West, Florida is a well-known, very nice gay hangout. And the La Tida is a drag show there. And old Rick is a patron of that. You know, he thinks he's away from town. He thinks, I'm in South Florida with all my friends in the gay community. Think I'll go to a drag show? Nobody will notice. He put $78 on his expense report. Reporters find that. This year, in the year 2011, the legislature passed a law that allowed Rick Perry to keep his travel records secret.
All right, is that Rob Dude? Bring him in here, please. Because he was trying to show me that earlier. Did you guys just search the term he told you?
Yeah. Google Rick Perry spent $78, you'll find it.
I think I recall that blurb back.
Yeah. So he's been, you know, he has like this double life. You know, on one minute he's on stage in Houston praying with the preachers. I'm sure he gets to them and praises them about the, you know, he calls it the debasement of America, and he prays for the drought. I'm all praying for the drought. You understand that? I just don't like hypocrisy of a double life of a man who's, you know, from what I know, from what Robert Morrow is saying, playing around with strippers, escorts that his entourage gets for him, probably comps him on that.
Well, I want to say this. This is the strongest piece of evidence, and Rob Dew may be at lunch or something, but earlier this morning he was trying to show me the expense account through the state or something. Did he use the state expense account on this?
I'm sure he did, because how else would we know about that? I'm sure he wants to put all the thrills and excitement of his bisexual lifestyle on the expense account of the state.
Well, again, we don't know that, Robert. I know people are telling you this, but if it's confirmed, is Dew gone? Because is
all you have to do is Google Rick Perry spent $78. It comes up.
No, I know they found a news article, but Dew had the expense account printouts, and Jaron's printing them right now.
Back to the way that Rick Perry looked at you. He looked at you maniacally, didn't he, Alex?
Yes.
And he said, God bless you, while he's looking at you like he wants to kill you, right?
He said, I want you guys, and I want you, Alex, to have a blessed Thanksgiving.
Yeah, while he sticks a knife in your back. Sounds like Rick Perry.
Hey, Robert, comment on that big rally you had in Houston that Rick Perry basically utilizing all those well-meaning Christians to campaign for him.
Rick Perry is abusing the minds and the hearts of millions of Christians in America, because he's telling them that, you know, he's all for traditional marriage, when his concept of traditional marriage is the exact same as John Edwards and Bill Clinton. He uses a lot of Christian terminology and Bible talk. He has a rally in Houston, which was really to further his own presidential ambitions. Yet, as far as I know, the man is a rampant bisexual adulterer. That's the information that I'm getting.
All right, let me throw this out. The guys have found a news article. I believe that news article has the link to the expense account, because I want to just confirm for myself. I know you guys are saying you've seen the reports, but that's unconfirmed to me at this point. But if it's true that he's visiting men in drag cabaret shows, that is a gigantic piece of evidence right there. I mean, and his campaign says, oh, that was Anita. Just like Rick Perry says that Anita is telling him to run for president. Well, my response to that is, did Anita tell you to play with the strippers, the hookers, the young hotties? Did Anita tell you to run for governor in 2010? She hardly ever showed up at one of your rallies. When she did, she never smiled. Always had a stony look on her face. No, I hear you. I'm going to get to some calls, but let's bring Dew in here. Dew just got back. He was on the other side of the studio. This is a report here out of political expenditures from the Ethics Committee.